Welcome, 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 welcome. Aura is not here today, so you will have to be dealing with me as your introduction, and we'll kick this off. It's gonna be a bit lighter than most because it is in the middle of the season, so we don't have too much things that are changing, but we do have a couple of updates that we want to keep you guys on top of. Joining me today, we have Mongoose, Wedge, Augustin, and Venus. They will be carrying you through, and then we'll all sit down and have a Q&A afterwards if you have any questions. So you want to get to the first slide, Mongoose? Okay, so the agenda for tonight, we're going to cover a bit of the new staff that we have been working to get consolidated. We've been wanting to expand the teams and make sure that all the committees are full. And if you are interested in that, make sure to message us afterwards about your interest in where you are. Born and I on the hiring committee will get you all sorted away. Then we're going to dive into the season 6 playoffs that are fast approaching and the specific rules that we're going to implement in terms of like roster locks and whatnot. Then we're going to be moving on to stuff related to the Patreon for the patrons out there and the rewards that are coming, player cards, etc. We're also going to talk about the season 7 dates. Now, you do have to keep in mind that these are uh, very tentative. They are very fluid. They might change around. We're not completely sold on them. And if something comes up, we might push it a week or two back or forwards. Then we're going to be going on to caster updates. This is not really updates. It's more of what's been happening and the stats that we've been getting. Overall, they're very good. Then we're going to move on to we have a couple of community contests for, and I will let Venus talk about those later. The very interesting, very exciting. If you want to get some cool skin codes, like stick around for that. Then we're going to be going into the off-season events. We have a couple planned for, and we're anxious to hear you guys' feedback about them and what we should be doing going forwards because we do like to get impact or we do like to hear feedback from the community in regards to that. And then we'll be going into the classic Q&A. So without further ado, I can pass off the mic to I'm gonna be doing shoutouts. I forgot about that. We can move on to shoutouts. I am I am a little out of it. I apologize. I'm not Aura. I'm not as good as she is. So shoutouts. We do have new people. So board director, Venus, he would be joining us. We're really proud to have him on here. He's a great guy, and you guys all know him. He'll bring some sanity to the board. Uh, thank you. We also have a new moderator for the Division D West. We have Arrow, so please give him a warm welcome. Things might be a little slow starting off, so uh, be accommodating for him, but make sure that he learns the ropes and knows what he's getting into. Div D is a wild place, I know. Uh, we also have a new discipline committee member. We have Cawthon joining us. We're trying to balance out the committee so we have equal parts staff members, equal parts community members, so as they're very unbiased and uh, very targeted at what their goals are, and we feel like he will be a great addition. I spoke to him along with Bourne, and he seems like a great guy. So I'm looking forward to talking with him more. And then we do have some updates for the information if you want to become a volunteer. And I think Aura is finalizing that now. So I'm not sure if we have anything else to talk about in that respect. So without further ado, let's move on to Wedge, who will be covering some of the more important dates coming up.
Hey, good evening, everyone. So first off, just a really quick reminder here. We really want you guys to get those flex games scheduled. We know it's getting down to the last 2 weeks here, so if we can make sure to get those all in so that we can get all the playoff brackets submitted to you guys, that'd be great. So just some quick reminders for your upcoming playoffs. Divs B through D, your roster soft lock comes into effect starting tomorrow. Div A, your roster soft lock comes into effect that next Monday. And Heroic, you've had your roster soft lock since this Monday. So what this roster soft lock means is that from this date on, your team is now limited to only 2 players that can be added or like swapped with a current player on your roster. At the end of this 2-week period, which lines up with the end of your regular season, rosters will now become a hard lock. You will not be able to add any players, and you will not be able to use any more off roster subs. So just as a quick reminder, regular season ends for Div B through D on Sunday, April 21st. Regular season ends on Div A on Sunday, April 28th. And regular season for Heroic ends after this week on April 14th. So then, for how playoffs are going to work, Heroic Division is going to be the only division with a slightly different bracket. It is instead going to have a 16 double elimination bracket that's going to run from April 15th to May 19th. The bracket will be revealed at the latest by April 15th, but if you can get everything scheduled ahead of time, or all the results submitted ahead of time, we will then get the bracket out to you guys as quickly as we can. For Division A, you're going to have since they are running a week longer to accommodate for their larger division and no coastal split, their playoffs are going to start April 29th, and their Division A finals are going to be May 13th through 19th. And then for all the rest of the divisions, B, C, and D, your playoffs are going to kick off April 22nd with your round of 8. You're going to have each coastal finals on the week of May 6th to 12th, and then you're going to have the grand finals for each division the week of May 13th to 19th. And again, please remember that there are no unrostered players allowed during the playoffs. Now I'm going to pass it over to Mongoose, who's going to give you all the fun updates for what's going on with our Patreon.
Hey guys, so it's getting to be that time of year where we're going to be starting to deliver those patron rewards that came with that revamp. So first of all, everybody, if you've been a patron, you should have had your digital wallpaper delivered already. If you're new, I may not have gotten it out to you, but anybody who's been around for a little bit, you should have gotten it. If you didn't, hit me up. I'll make sure you get it. The physical swag bags will be shipped at the end of the regular season. And then player cards, we have to wait on production of those until we get all the season statistics in. So those will be delivered during the off season at some point. There is the link to the patron if you want to check out what's going on. And you see there we have our old style from last season on the right and the new style on the left. We're going to be putting a poll in the patron chat for you guys to vote on which style you would like to have this season's player cards draw inspiration from. So keep an eye out for that. If you want either of these sweet player cards, become a patron, and then you get to vote in our little survey as well. That's pretty much it for the patron, so I'm going to pass it off to Augustin, who's going to start talking about next season and beyond.
Thank you very much, Mongoose. Just to give you guys a heads up, just a reminder, these Season 7 dates are still very tentative, so just keep an eye out for any further communication from us to you guys to see what the actual solidified dates end up being after the season or after the current season takes place. So for now, our tentative Season 7 dates have our sign up starting after the week after Season 6 ends, ranging from May 27th to June 16th. It gives you about a solid 2 to 3 weeks of being able to find people. Placements for the teams will be announced on June 30th. The regular season will go for about 2 months, from July 8th to September 1st, and playoffs will run about a month from September 2nd to September 29th. And I'll be also letting you guys know about just how everything has been going on with our casters. We want to give a special shout out to our casters. One thing that I will say personally that I see a lot of in NGS as a whole is the fact that a majority, or at least I perceive, I guess, a majority of the games that end up getting played or scheduled 4 days are consistently casted for most of the time. So for this season, we've had the highest percentage of live matches casted ever. And you can see some of the numbers that we have as a part of a rundown list. You can see our casters have been absolutely putting in the work these past few weeks, and it's been a hell of a time watching all the plays and having them, not only interact with the players but provide their own commentary as a part of it. Again, our caster core, I believe, is one of the strongest points that we have. We've had a lot of different new and returning faces coming back to us this season and casting with us. I just want to remind you guys that it's never a bad time to jump into it and get involved, especially with Jason at the helm. Jason and a whole multitude of other veteran casters that have been doing this, regularly, who have no problem getting you on board and getting you up to speed with how things are done. So if you feel like you're good enough and want to take a chance at it, don't hesitate. Join in. And I will be passing this off to Weenus, who has the best. Oh gosh, you guys are not ready for this good content coming up. It's going to be beautiful.
Thanks, August. Thank you very much. I am so excited about what we're seeing right here. This is going to be a community contest for NGS. It's the NGS Photoshop Battle Transform This Turd. As you see, here's a very fine image of our esteemed Edge host, Turd Herder. And so what we are going to challenge you to do, you have a week to do it starting today, is make as many memes, as many fun images using this as part of the composition. We are going to run it for 1 week, so it's going to start now. The top 5 transformations are going to win some skin codes. We got some extra skin codes to give away, so don't hesitate. Go ahead and put in some work, submit something. The best overall submission will also win 5 loot chests, so give it a shot. It should be fun. Go ahead and DM me all of your submissions, and then keep them PG-13, please, if you can. If it's too spicy, it will not be up for consideration, but I will secretly enjoy them. Discord chat channel showcasing the submissions. All right, so if it does fall in the PG-13 category, or even between PG-13 and G, I don't know what they use these days, I will be putting them up there. That Discord channel is going to go live directly after the Mead Hall, so that you guys can get your source image. There's no limit on the number of submissions. You guys can submit multiple if you like. But if you do get selected as one of the top 5, you can only win one of those spots. So you won't be able to win all top 5. Go ahead and use anything you want. Microsoft Paint, GIMP, Photoshop, use them all. GIMP is a program like Photoshop, but it's free. Sometimes you don't have access to some of those more expensive Adobe products. So there are other answers out there if you still want to do some submissions. All right. And as you can see, there's an example up here of Indiana Turd, just to kind of get your juices flowing. Let's see what we can do there. So I'm super excited about that. Look for that chat channel. It's going to be, I think it's called Community Contest is going to be the channel in Discord. So look for that. All right, let's move on. All right, so we also have some teasers for you guys. There's a charity event that we have upcoming. It's tentatively scheduled for Sunday, May 26th, and it's directly to benefit St. Jude Children's Hospital. So we're still kind of messing a little bit with the format of what we're going to do there. We do have ideas. It should be fun. So make sure and stay tuned to that when we finally do lock in that date. It should be in the next couple of weeks where we can lock that in for sure. It's going to involve the NGS community, and it all goes to benefit St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Do it all for the kids. Off-season summer tournament. We're going to have some events, in the downtime when the season ends and people are still hanging around. I guess these are teasers, so we can't say too much, but they're going to be fun. They're already in the works. They're being planned as we speak. So get hyped about that, as well as a free agent showcase. This is something that we want to build out in the off season before season 7, where people can either do 2 things. Like for new teams, we might be looking at new teams being able to play some scrims against some of our existing teams. But then this free agent showcase is going to be specifically for free agents themselves who haven't found a team yet, who aren't necessarily locked in, and they are looking for a chance to show what they got, and also have some fun as well, because I'm sure teams will get filled in with existing volunteers and things like that. So that should be a lot of fun to have a little bit of an event during the off season in that regard as well, because free agents, you never know who the next top dog is going to come from. It could just be from that free agent pool. Okay, that's enough teasing. Take it away, Weenus. Here we go. Just a reminder for you guys to keep up with NGS on Twitter at Nexus Series and the hashtag announcements channel in Discord. That's where all of the updates will be posted. Also, we have so much content coming out through the NGS community, the Nexus Now podcast, the Nexus Edge League coverage, the how-to videos, and all season 6 casted games. Find it all on the website and YouTube. Jason gets a shout out here for all of the hard work he's been doing with the casting this season, revamping the YouTube page, set that nature, doing a lot of editing as well for some of this content. So uh him and the crew, I mean, I can't say all the names, but all the analysts, all the podcast boys, all the panelists. It's really been fun, and I think the community has really enjoyed it. I know I do. I always like looking at those blooper reels at the very end. Of course, check the pins. But you can also see that there's a new functionality to the website that is highlighting our media coverage of the showdowns, the podcast, and Nexus Edge. So they are right underneath the jumbotron on the main website. All right, and one more thing. Since Jason has been doing so much work, ooh, sorry, I misfired. My chicken is just holding it in hand nervously, and sometimes it goes off. Jason is looking for some backup. He's looking for a Nexus Edge editor, 1 peep, a Showdown pregame show editor, 3 peeps because of the 3 showdowns, and someone who will take over the Cast My Replay channel so they can keep that updated and make sure that the games go in and out of there. I'm not going to read all of this text, but it is up here, and you guys can review it and see if that's something you're interested in. If you are interested, contact Jason, but also Jackster and Born to Shine, as they are the hiring committee. So I think that's going to do it for these slides. And now we'll throw it back to you guys and maybe address some of your questions. All right. Jason Hotz says, please help me in chat. That's really funny. So do we have any questions? Have you guys been fielding that? Hello? Am I alone here? I think we need to bring at least somebody else back.
I'm still here. I'm with you.
Sure.
How's that chocolate milk?
It's all gone now, unfortunately. Well,
That's
fortunately because it's in my
tragic.
belly, but unfortunately because now I have no water to walk through.
Satet asks, will NGS be leading Div S next season as well? At this time, we don't know. As far as our partnership has gone with Heroes Lounge, it's gone really well. We've coordinated, day in, day out with them to make sure that games both are promoted properly and have casters to work with them. But ultimately, Div S is still under the control of Heroes Lounge, so ultimately it's their decision. So just keep keep your ear to the ground, at least in terms of further updates regarding that. Just sit tight.
Grogman asking, are there plans in the works to get the NGS and Heroes Lounge seasons to conflict less? I'll say that we have talked with them about getting the schedules to overlap a lot less and have the off seasons kind of be a transition period where the other can work. It is tricky though because the seasons are usually twice as long as the off season, or at least that's what we do for our our seasons, and so it is very difficult. We're not running their NA Heroes Lounge scene, and so we really don't have any control over what seasons that they are planning on doing and when. But we would be more than happy to accommodate if they say like, "Hey, can you push season 7 start like a week back?" And that will give us time to get at least out of the regular season. And so maybe something that we can do that I've been looking into personally is if they're having their playoffs going on, then that's when our season signups would be starting up. So as their season is wrapping down, maybe we can have a little bit of overlap, and it would just be like maybe the teams that make it to like the finals that would have difficulty competing in both, whereas like regular season teams can seamlessly go from one to the other. But again, that is like a bit down the line, and we'll need to see. I'm not sure if they even have their third season planned out yet. So we'll get to that when we cross it.
So quiet in question chat today,
Yeah.
but we knew it was gonna be, we knew it was gonna be like a little less.
We're just touching base, no big deal.
Middle of the season. Yeah.
One thing I did want to say, going back to the casters slide, is that there's some casters who do really good work for us who aren't on that list, and it's just because of the format of submitting your games through YouTube, and some of our casters don't have that all set up yet and are planning on doing that a little bit later. So there are also some really great casters in the community who aren't on that list. That's not everybody. That's just that allows us. That's the spreadsheet allows us to collect based on the submissions. So I'm sure you guys have seen some of those casters and wondering where they are. So that's the answer.
We do have a question from Satat that I would like to field, if you guys don't mind. He says the amount of content coming out of NGS is incredible. Is this sustainable in future seasons? And the answer is it depends. We're entirely voluntary, and the amount of passion that the community has showed toward us is pretty incredible, to be honest. We have a large staff full of passionate people who volunteer countless hours of time to put out the content that you guys see. So as long as the community remains passionate about the game and what we're doing, it's completely sustainable. And we really appreciate all of the long hours that all of the volunteers in every capacity put in. So that's actually a great segue to say thank you to everybody, and everybody we work with is really great. And I agree, the amount of content coming out is pretty incredible, and it gives me something to consume at work other than actually working.
Yeah, no, I second that. You know, as long as you guys uh want to do this and or want us to do it and will give us the support and the ability to do it, we're happy to.
Ooh, I'll take that one. Question for Weenus. If peanut butter wasn't called peanut butter, what would it be called? I think if you couldn't call it peanut butter, you'd call it peanut paste, and it would come in a tube, the same like toothpaste, and you can just like spread it that way, like a pate, peanut pate, perhaps.
That sounds like the least appealing thing I could imagine.
I agree. I'd still eat it. I'd still put it on my toothbrush.
You you absolute savage. Please no.
And not the creamy variant either. It still has to be the extra chunky.
Oh God.
One more from Satat. With all the stuff happening in EU and Korea in terms of high-level play and Division S in NA getting little spotlight, will NGS create something as Hero Lounge decides not to do a Division S Season 2? The answer to that is we
Correct.
haven't really talked about it, so we have no idea. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah. The tough thing is a lot of this is dependent on what Blizzard wants to do. And I don't know if you guys know, but they're not entirely open with us in terms of their plans going into the future. We have every expectation that they're going to continue to support this at a competitive level. But it kind of there's three people, there are three parties that are involved with. There's Blizzard, there's organizations like Heroes Lounge and us that can put on these tournaments, and there are the players, the competitive high level players that are willing to compete. And if any one of those groups decides to drop out, then there's not a whole lot for it to stand on. So like it needs the support of all three, and you know we're clearly able to support it. It just goes to show like are the players going to, and is Blizzard going to into the future?
Well, we already have our first submission for Transform this turd, so I want to get that in
Oh
there.
my.
Just for some context, like we're not meaning this to sound in any way like super down or negative. We will always provide what we can, as long as the demand is there from the players.
Oh yeah.
Like if there continues to be the demand as there is now, we will always try to do our best to provide, like at the very least, a heroic div, or if there could be that top level competition, we could still provide the casters to bring the regular content of the highest level amateur scene can offer.
Anyone else? Going once, going twice? Well, if nobody is going to ask any more questions, we'll stall for a couple minutes. But speaking of new mods and new casters, Arrow is going to be casting a game here in about 5 minutes. So we'll send you over there after we stall for 1 or 2 last-minute questions if anybody has them.
Oh, and here come those bits. Thanks for the bits, Lexia and a Brewer 2, and for the subscribe at Tier 1. They've subscribed for 2 months. Well done.
All right. Well, whenever we're ready, we're going to send you that way. I think he's got his starting soon screen up. So hang out, watch some NGS action with Arrow, and have a good week, guys. Get those flex games scheduled. Get your results submitted as soon as possible so we can get these playoffs going here in the next couple weeks.
And put in some submissions for Transform This Turd. I'm really going to look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. I'm already enjoying it.
All right, guys. Everyone have a great night.
Bye.
Have a good one.